Hello and welcome back to another 7 stories in as near as 7 minutes as I can get. And also I just want to give you the heads up, we're going to be doing bonuses. So on a Wednesday at 7 o'clock there will be bonuses coming up, so keep your eyes out for those. Today though, story 1, Sunday 7th of September, 3 o'clock. Did you get your emergency alert on your phone? You know, the one that His Majesty's government were warning you about. Personally, I switched my phone off, but the government seem to want you to prepare for things, and I just want to bring your attention to not just emergency alerts, but this is the UK government's Prepare website. Now they're trying to advise you to get prepared for flooding and power outages and cyber outages and any other emergencies that may emerge. But what do they know that we don't? And what are they wanting to prepare us for? Are you prepared? It could be a long, dark, cold winter. Story 2. Do you live in Nottinghamshire? Because if you do, the furry canine friends that you might see in the park, you're going to see some robot dogs. Yep, that's right, robot dogs. Nottinghamshire Police Firearms Training Team. They're going to be piloting them for the next 12 years, and they're going to be using a number of scenarios with which to do so. So we're looking at armed sieges, like you do, building searches, hostage negotiations. Anyway, these dogs are capable of pretty much anything. They're hunting machines, and you have to remember they carry weapons and they can kill, right? They're pretty scary. And if it's successful in Nottinghamshire, then we're going to be rolling them out over the rest of the country. So my message to all of us really is, you know, we're all pretty fed up with the two-tier policing that we're seeing, and we're getting quite grumpy with police officers, but careful what you wish for. And if you are a police officer that's watching this, then I would say #Turkey at Christmas. Story 3, the budget. So Rachel from Accounts, aka Rachel Reeves, our Chancellor, has announced that she's planning a late budget this year, November the 26th, because it's normally in October, but it's Wednesday the 26th of November, and we know that tax is going to go up and spending cuts. That's the way it's going to be. It's not going to be benefiting us. But the 26th of November is an interesting day. Did you know that in 1865 Lewis Carroll published Alice in Wonderland? 26th of November. And also in 1922, on the same day, Howard Carter opened Tutankhamun's tomb. Interesting day, don't you think? Let's crack on with story 4, chickenpox. Now, for those of you that follow me on X, thank you so much. You'll know that I jumped all over this because what the government have announced is that they're going to be adding chickenpox, varicella, to the measles, mumps, rubella, MMR. I think we might see some appearances from Andrew Wakefield, and I'm going to raise an eyebrow on that. Maybe controversial, but perhaps for next time. But why? Why all of a sudden are we jabbing babies and children with chickenpox when my mum used to send me to a chickenpox party because she used to say it's best to get it over and done with early, and I did. And I haven't been troubled, and I'm still alive, and I'm fine. Who dies from chickenpox? So why now? Well, did you know that back in April, behind closed doors, you might not know this, but NHS England announced that it was a notifiable disease. So if it's a notifiable disease, that means that a doctor has to report it to the UK HSA, who we know are spooks, and that's surveillance. And I prefer, actually, the chickenpox parties. But this is babies. Very concerned about this. Let's stay on the subject of jabs with story 5, because it's that time of year again when millions of children and pregnant women will receive the flu jab. But you know what? There's loads of staff to jab you. There's no staff in the NHS to look after you. Weird that, don't you think? So the NHS, according to them, they're going to, and this is on the NHS England website, by the way, which we haven't got the NHS England anymore, right? Website's still there. But anyway, they're going to ramp up the vaccine teams in their efforts to get as many needles in arms as possible. In fact, they're going to have family drop-in clinics. You can all go together, you know, for your Sunday afternoon after tea. Makes it so much more fun, don't you think? And it's not just schools they're going for either, parents. They're going for 2 to 3 year olds, so they're going for the nurseries. So if you're a grandparent or a parent and you're watching this, please do pass the word, because your nursery could be visited very soon. Story 6, cancer. This is a billion-dollar industry, you know, and we've talked about it so many times about how the UK seems to be the cancer laboratory of the globe, and you might want to go back and look at one of my previous YouTubes where we talk about exactly that. But according to Cancer Research UK, which I personally think is a quango, which is funded by pharmaceutical companies, they've brought out a new report where they say that there will be 6 million cancer diagnoses by 2040. And just to put that into context, in the 1970s, they said that there was one diagnosis every 4 minutes, whereas what they're predicting in 2040 is one diagnosis every 2 minutes. Now my question is why are so many people being diagnosed with cancer? And when they are being diagnosed with cancer, are the tests that are being used, are they reliable? Are they accurate? I don't know the answer to that question. But we know that the UK is cancer central, and this is a $1 billion industry. And we also know about the Stargate project, right? Larry Ellison, Oracle, sending the AI in 48 hours mRNA cancer vaccines to the UK to be tested on. Just saying. And finally, story 7. Wow, are you looking for a job? Here's one for you might be interested in plain sight. Gov.uk advertising for a directed weapons international and communications advisor. Sorry, did I read that right? Let me just repeat. The UK government are advertising for a directed weapons international and communications advisor to work at the Ministry of Defence on the DEW programme to develop new technology to protect our armed forces. Yes, really, in plain sight. This person's going to be based in central London at the Ministry of Defence, and you know, for being placed in central London, 44,590. It's not a great salary, but anyway, maybe you're up for it. Maybe you want to apply. If you do, let me know. But that, everyone, is 7 stories in nearly 7 minutes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and if you like, please share.